When she reached for the handle, her knuckles turned white because the luggage was heavier than it should have been. She almost stumbled back, but quickly caught herself. With a feigned grin, she glanced at me for a reaction. The second of shock that broke through her carefully constructed veneer was worth every hour I'd spent preparing for this weekend. "Oh, wow. Did you pack rocks in here?" I ask. I shrug, my face impassive. "You've got everything you need in there," I reply, my tone deliberately flat. "It's a special trip, after all." She hesitated, then smiled a fake rehearsed smile that she'd been using on me for months. "You're so thoughtful," she said, leaning in to kiss me on the cheek. Her lips felt cold, disconnected. I watched her wheel the suitcase out the door, the small wheels squeaking under the weight. I waited until the car pulled out of the driveway and disappeared down the street before I allowed myself to exhale. It was showtime. Her name was Amanda. We'd been married for 8 years, together for 10. For most of that time, I would have described us as happy comfortable. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our shared dreams. Or at least, I thought we did. That illusion shattered 3 months ago when I found the first text message. She had left her phone on the kitchen counter while she went upstairs to shower. I wasn't snooping, at least not intentionally, but the screen lit up with a message preview, and my eyes betrayed me. "Can't wait to see you this weekend. Miss you like crazy." Hard, it read, signed Brent. Brent. I thought my heart was sinking, but I didn't answer the phone because I didn't know a Brent. We didn't have any friends named Brent, and there wasn't a Brent at her workplace. I'd learned enough in my life to know that rushing in blindly wouldn't get me anywhere. I needed proof, hard proof. And proof came. The weeks that followed were a master class in deceit mine, not hers. She believed I was unaware, but I was gradually dissecting the web she and Brent had created. I installed a keylogger on her laptop when she left it unattended, recording their emails and chats. I once followed her while keeping a safe distance as she worked late at a fancy hotel in the downtown area. The topper? I put a GPS tracker in her car. What I found was disgusting. Every lie she told, every justification she gave, every "I love you" she whispered to me before going out to meet him, each one drove a knife deeper into my chest. But I hadn't confronted her yet. When she announced her weekend getaway with the girls, I nearly laughed. She was so open and honest now that I knew what to look for. Her made-up stories didn't fit too many friends, were conveniently unavailable to confirm her plans. She was the puppet, not the puppeteer, but she didn't realize it. The last time she came home late, I told her, "I've got some projects around the house to keep me busy." She smiled. "You're the best." I even played the part of the unaware husband and helped her pack. But while she picked out her favorite outfits, ones I knew she'd wear to impress him, I was working on my own suitcase. Not with clothes, though. Brent lived in a fancy condo on the opposite side of the city. There were too many last-minute changes and the lingering scent of cologne on her blouse. I had all the evidence I needed to break her world. I had visited the location more times than I could remember, getting to know his routine and habits, a high-level executive, of course, polished. When I got there, I parked down the street and observed from the shadows. Charming. A man who most likely never gave a second thought to the husband of the woman he was sleeping with. I waited an additional hour to give them time to settle in before approaching the building, because Amanda's car was already there, crookedly parked in her haste to get inside. I had practiced this moment in my head countless times, but nothing had prepared me for the real thing. My heart was racing, and my adrenaline shot through me like fire. I knocked firmly and authoritatively, and when the door opened, he was there. Brent, a man in his late 30s with dark hair and an expensive watch that gleamed in the hallway. He smiled before he saw me, then asked if he could help. His tone was cautious. "Oh, I think you can," I said. He stepped forward, and I saw his hand twitch as if he were unsure whether to close the door. But I didn't give him the chance. My shoulder struck the door, and I was inside. "Hey, Brent." "You can't shut up," I said, something so cutting that it could have broken glass. "You and I need to have a little chat." Amanda then came into the hallway, her face going pale. She grabbed the robe around herself as if it were a shield. When she saw me, she said, "Mark, why are you here?" I ignored her and concentrated on Brent. "You know who I am, don't you?" He gulped hard. "I think you should go." I chuckled icily, bitterly. "Oh, I'll go." "But not before we've had our talk." I opened my bag and took out the first stack of pictures, printed screenshots of their emails, texts, and hotel receipts. I tossed them all over the coffee table like confetti. Her eyes opened wide as she darted from the pictures to Amanda and back to me. "You seemed smart, didn't you?" I continued. "Did you think I was so dumb that I wouldn't see, Mark? You were sneaking around, hoping you wouldn't get caught." Amanda's voice was shaking. "Could we please have a private conversation about this?" I turned to her, my rage boiling over. "And you?" "You seemed unconcerned about it, screwing him behind my back." Tears welled up in her eyes. "But I didn't care, because you didn't get to cry anymore, Amanda." I responded in a chilly tone. "You made your decisions, and now you'll pay the price." I turned back to Brent. "How does it feel?" He stammered. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "Save it," I snapped. "I'm not interested in your excuses, but your wife might be." Amanda's voice broke desperately. "Mark." Before I left, I grabbed my bag and walked to the door. Turning back to Brent, I said one last thing. "If you ever come near my wife again, I'll make sure everyone in your professional circle knows exactly what kind of man you are." I left them standing there, and the silence behind me was deafening. The fallout was swift and brutal. I mailed the evidence to Brent's wife the following day and wrote a note apologizing for the suffering it would cause her. Within a week, Amanda filed for divorce, and although she tried to justify her actions and ask for forgiveness, I wasn't interested. I made sure she left with nothing but the clothes on her back. It wasn't easy, but as I stood in my now empty house, the weight of betrayal finally lifted. I realized that I had lost a wife, yes, but I had gained freedom and the satisfaction that justice had been served.